Grumble, grumble.
Hey everyone, it's the Grumpy Meeple, and I'm coming back at you with more Brimstone content. This time we're looking at the Setaris Ravagers enemy pack that came with the... I believe that this was one of the social stretch goals on the Gates of Valhalla, Valley of the Serpent Kings Kickstarter. And these were available for sale at Dice Fest 2023, if I remember correctly, which I'm sure I do. So let's take a look. The Setaris Kitewings are a ruthless alien civilization bent on conquest and devastation. A reptilian species with large leathery wings, they descend from above to rain death upon their foes. Often acting in small bands of space pirates known as Ravager enclaves, these cunning raiders have mastered hit-and-run attacks to strike quickly and without warning. Not known for taking prisoners, it is said that the Setaris have a habit of feeding on the dead. This enemy pack contains everything you need to add these vicious alien enemies to your games of Shadows of Brimstone. You're getting rules, 6 Ravagers bases, 30mm bases, so they must be, well, I guess they're normal sized. One of the enemy sheets, 13 cards, and a counter sheet. So, let's bust this bad boy open and see what we got. Open sesame. Come on, baby. That's a little bent up. That's kind of annoying, but it's really kind of not necessary, and the card is not bent up, so that would concern me more. Let's take a look here. Alright, so new enemies. Setaris Ravagers. Though not particularly tough, the Setaris Ravagers can strike fast and hard, blasting the heroes with their Setaris laser rifles before closing in to scratch and claw with their talons. As masters of Snapfire, the Ravagers are harder to pin down and are more often able to get their free ranged attack as well as a solid melee attack before falling back. They're also quite fast as they fly through the air, avoiding damage with their agile dodge. You get low, medium, and high threat cards, as well as otherworld threat cards for Dragono, Targa, Derelict Ship, and the Blasted Waste. Shuffle them into their decks. Here you've got the details on Snapfire, which I don't think I'm actually familiar with. When a group of enemies with the Snapfire standard ability needs to be placed in ambush, they are not placed adjacent to the heroes like other enemies. Instead, select a random hero and place all of the Snapfire enemies from that group on the selected hero's map tile as far from any heroes as possible. This usually allows them to sneak in from a side passage or get placed at the end of a hall or room, maybe even behind the heroes. If there are not enough empty spaces on that map tile, any remaining enemies are placed as far from the heroes as possible on any map tile adjacent to the selected hero. They get a free ranged enemy attack at the start of the enemy's activation. If there are no heroes adjacent to it, okay, so you need to charge in on these guys. It makes a free ranged attack using ranged attack described in the enemy abilities list at a hero that is currently within range and line of sight to that enemy model. Note that this is before the enemy makes any movement for the turn. And then Snapfire markers are used to denote which heroes have been targeted by the enemy ranged attack this turn. Simple way to keep track of which heroes have already been targeted and by how many of the enemies. When making their free ranged attacks, the Snapfire enemies that are not adjacent to a hero will each find a target. Step through the Snapfire enemies one by one, completing the following procedures for each of them. Select a random hero within range and line of sight, and that does not already have Snapfire markers on him. Place Snapfire marker on that target. Once the enemy group has placed their Snapfire markers, roll the range attack for the enemy against each hero. Charge. After completing any free range attack for the enemy group, each of the Snapfire enemies will select a new target, move, and make a melee attack as usual. And then once they've all activated, roll a d6 for each of the enemies that is currently adjacent to one or more heroes. On a roll 3+, that enemy immediately makes a free move along the shortest distance to no longer be adjacent to any heroes. This free move is outside the normal turn sequence and is used to gain some distance so the enemy might get another free attack at the start of its next activation. Okay, yeah, that's interesting. And then you've got the build assembly guide, and they do say that you've got some there might be some posability with these because the head and wings are on ball joints. So cool. You get some Snapfire tokens. Let's take a look at their cards. You know what's interesting is, I wonder, so these enemies who have these special abilities where you need a card to kind of, yeah, see, it wouldn't work, because I was just thinking to myself, like, these kind of remind me of the advanced encounter cards, where maybe you could sleeve them with the threat card, but you would need like 50 copies of this for all these fucking threat cards. Those aren't gonna work. All right, so at low level, you've got just P, Setaris, Ravagers. Medium level, you're getting all 6. High, you're getting 6 and an additional low threat, and they get attack waves. At the end of each turn, if there are any enemies still on the board, add D6 Setaris Ravagers to the fight if able. Oh my god. At the end of each turn? Wow. Low, medium, high. And then you've got cards for the various other worlds. So Targa, Blasted Waste, get 2 for Blasted Waste. Derelict Ship, 2 for Derelict Ship. That'll excite people. I know everybody's always looking for more monsters for Derelict Ship. 1 for the Swamps of Dragono, and they're all, you know, they're all the same basically. So with 1 to 2 heroes, you just get P, Setaris, Ravagers. 3 to 4 heroes, you get 6. 5 to 6 heroes, you get 6 with an elite ability. And then your Snapfire reference card. Next up, we've got the enemy sheet here. All right, let's see. Alien, Setaris, Outlaw, Pirate. I like that they're outlaws. They've got a move of 9. Their escape is on a 3+, which is good. That's consistent with the ability that they have to move away under the Snapfire Masters, I believe it is. Yeah, hit and run. Their ranged to hit value is 3+. That's very dangerous. Their melee is 4+. They do 2 combat and 4 damage on melee. They've got 3 defense and 4 health. So they are weak in terms of, like, you're going to be able to blast these guys down. Snapfire with the Setaris laser rifle, it's got a range of 14. Wow. Okay, so they can really get far away from you. Shots 3, damage 2, agile dodge. Shots 3, damage 2, hitting on 3+. Whoo! Agile dodge. If this model's initiative is higher than the attacker's, prevent 2 damage on each hit it takes, or 3 damage if its initiative is double or more. He's got an initiative of 6, so that's... Jesus Christ. Prevent 2 damage on each hit. That's fucking brutal. Flight moves through other models and changes targets each turn. And then Snapfire Masters only needs to roll a 2+ for the hit and run. Free move of Snapfire, and instead of only moving the shortest distance, moves to be at least 4 spaces from its previous position if possible. So that hit and run thing must... yeah, okay, so that's a Snapfire rule specifically, not an enemy-specific rule. They're worth 30 XP, and on their elite chart, Screech, they get +1 initiative and gain Fear 1. Any hero starting their activation adjacent takes a horror hit. Feeding on the Dead, +1 combat. Whenever any model is killed or KO'd on its map tile, this enemy heals 2 wounds. Wow, that's crazy. Swooping, +1 initiative, +1 combat, and +2 health. Razor Sharp Teeth. This enemy's combat hits are +2 damage. Death from Above. Setaris Ravagers enter play as an ambush and are +2 shots and +2 combat on the first turn of the fight. And then Blue Lasers. Setaris Ravager ranged hits are now +3 damage. This card's a little warped. And then just everything is way worse on the brutal side. I've never seen the brutal side of an enemy card. I've never had a campaign go that long, which is why typically in these videos I don't really cover them very much. Let's break this open and take a look at the models. Piss off. You got your bases with slots on them, and then here you go. So you've got some bodies, some wings, and some pistols, and their cool pterodactyl heads. And you get 6 of them. Very cool. All right, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. I will talk to you later.